Hello and welcome to the Build with Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Baer and I'm here to build a model kit. I'm also here to hang out with all of you. And I'm going to start the stream off weird, I know. I'm going to start by throwing the Bear Cave Lego Scythe and Tier 2 Blue emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply to me with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi. You can use other people's emotes. If you feel like being a lurker and you don't want to say anything at all, you don't have to. That's my promise to you. Lashbrook is here. Ghost Valve is here. Welcome to both of you. Happy Monday evening. Happy to have you here on the start of a week. This is not the last weekend in October. It feels like it though, right? Maybe you feel it. Maybe you're feeling what I'm feeling, that this feels like it's the last week of October, but it's not. That's next week. Halloween is not this week. It's next week, but it kind of feels like it is. I don't know. I saw some people celebrating Halloween last weekend, and I was like, what's going on? And then I remembered, oh, they're celebrating Halloween last weekend because this weekend they're going to a Magic convention in Las Vegas, so they're not going to celebrate Halloween this weekend. That's why. It made sense to me. I assume this weekend people will be celebrating the Halloween stuff because Halloween's on a Thursday. People got stuff going on. Anyway, a couple of small little announcements. Tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, I will be going back to the wonderful world of Power Wash Simulator to take a look at the Shrek pack, the Shrek DLC, a paid DLC that came out a while ago, a couple weeks ago. Hey, Lord Crashington, welcome. I was busy with other stuff. I wanted to check out Europa because it had just come out. So I didn't get a chance to look at it yet. We'll be looking at it tomorrow. Originally, I was going to be looking at the Shrek pack next week. But next week, I'm going to play a different video game because I like the idea of playing a Halloween-ish game on or around Halloween. Also, folks may remember that for several years, I used to do pumpkin carving until I did a year that it didn't turn out well, and now I'm taking a long pumpkin carving break. So I am going to be checking out a video game whose name I have to look up the full title of. It is a free game from itch. They call it an MMO, but it's a pumpkin carving game where you can upload your pumpkins, and then people can give you stars and tell you if they liked your pumpkin or not. Let me look up the name of this game. It is called Ghost Town Pumpkin Festival because all of the avatars are ghosts. It is a pay what you want game. I paid $2 so that I unlocked hats that my ghosts can wear. And I think you're helping pay for server costs and all that. But I'll be checking that out a week from tomorrow. So not tomorrow, but the next week. Because that felt like a good Halloween-ish thing to do. That I'll be doing that. And then that Thursday, I will build a Lego set that is Halloween-themed-ish. It involves skeletons, so it's close. And it's also, I'll be building a Lego property that I've never built before. Based on a video game I've never played on stream. So that's stuff to look forward to next week. I did put a post out about that. I'll have to update a couple things, a couple places so people know that that's happening. But yeah, the other thing that I want to clue you into, because maybe you missed my Saturday stream where I made the first announcement about it. I'm going to talk about it until the stream happens. So if I'm a broken record about this, tough. I'm doing Extra Life on Saturday, the 2nd of November. That is a week from this Saturday. I will be running CPU versus CPU matches in WWE 2K24 to raise money for Extra Life, specifically a children's wing of a hospital here in South Carolina, which is my local. They will be... we did have a blip there. Looks like we're back. My apologies for folks there. We had a blip and dropped out, but we did not disconnect, which is great. If you donate $10 or more, you can pick a wrestler or a match type. For every $50 cumulative that I raise, I will perform a famous wrestling promo. My first one will be from a wrestler from TNA. And not listed here on the promotional thing, you can go to extra-life.org to participate, and I do have I do have to include that. I'll put this in the Extra Life here. If I hit $500, which is my goal, if I hit my goal of $500, then I will perform the Steiner Math promo, one of the most ridiculous promos that is not meant to be ridiculous. That is supposed to be a badass cool man promo, and it's not. It's goofy as hell. And so I will perform that if I hit my goal of $500. But at 50, 100, 150, all the way up to 450, when I hit those milestones, I will, of course, perform something. As I said, my first one will also be from TNA, so we bookend with TNA, because it doesn't get a lot of love. But also AEW, some WCW, some WWE. Maybe I will do something from New Japan, because there are some choice promos from one Chuck Taylor that he cut in English after shows that are kind of great. If I can find the proper transcripts of those, I will include those. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I got a few of them. It'll be good. I'll do the Big E one. I had to find a transcript of that because it wasn't in the database that I was planning to use. Anyway, that's November 2nd. What's up tonight, Pat? Well, let's go to, boom, the overhead. There's the photo of it right there. You can see there. This is the Gelgoog Menace. What a great fucking name. We're starting the Gelgoog Menace. This is a from the Gundam Seed Gundam Seed Forever, the most recent movie. It is a modern kit from the ground up. It does have some polycaps, but only a few. Most of this kit does not require polycaps. It is kind of going from the newer designs, which we saw in some of the other Freedom kits that came out, and also in all of the Witcher Mercury kits that came out. So we got that to look forward to. Also, this kit has a ton of fucking stickers. It's got so many goddamn stickers. A lot of them are for the winged backpack thing, so we won't be building that for a while. There is a sticker on the head because we're building head, body, so that's chest and waist, which is one unit, all the way down to the shoulders. So we don't have any stickers until a while from now, looks like, which is nice. Yeah, not for quite a bit do we have to worry about stickers, but we will have one early in the stream build. So let's get into it. I hope you're all doing great out there on the old internet. I feel like I'm doing fine enough. Let's say I need D2. Oh, one thing about this kit that I wanted to point out, which I think is very neat, and not every kit does this, but not even every modern kit does this, but some do, and I think it is very cool. Let me just get all the parts I need here. I need F1, and I need G, one of the G's. G. Okay, here's what this kit does that I think is cool as hell. Yeah, you should be able to see that, even though I have the contrast up. It tells me to build this head, I need C2, D2, F1, and G. The body will require me to have C1, C2, D2, E1, G, and polycap 7, these are all 7s. I think that's fucking fantastic. Not every model kit does that. I think it is very cool because it allows you to look ahead and to plan out and be like, oh, I need these sprues. So if your sprues are just in the box and you just kind of, some people just do this and then just kind of like file through it, it's easy enough to find the thing you need. So we need G2, which is this one here. Take that out. I don't know. I just thought that was pretty nifty. All right, so that's the only G we need there. We need C2, or so F, we'll take the F. We only need one F. Most of this is going to be D2. It looks like, yeah. All these parts are D2. So we'll just get out the fin here that we need, because we're building a mobile suit. Let's see. Anything? Did some yard work that was not great. I watched some wrestling last night. That was fun. There is early voting in South Carolina where I'm at, but that has begun today. I will not be going. I believe Friday. My folks are going to go and get our vote on. I believe. Um, uh, Vote.org to find out your polling place, to find out early voting, if that's possible where you are, to find out if you can still do mail-in, if that is a thing that you want to do, if you're eligible for that and that is available to you. Also, hey, vote.org. You can look up what's on your ballot by putting in your address and name. You can look up where your ballot is. Reminder, if you show up and they say that you can't vote, but you are registered to vote and everything is good, you can ask for a provisional ballot. But yeah, you can find out if you are like, oh yeah, I just never know what these like provisions are, what these like, what is this? What's Prop 7? I have no idea. You can look it up and they will tell you what it is. And you can find out, like in my case, if you want a certain highway to be extended, which maybe I would want, except for this particular one. In general, I would like work projects like that, but not this one. This one would be rough for the area, so we don't want that. But yeah, maybe you can find out something that would that you are like, oh yeah, I actually don't know, because it's not just about the big one; it's about all the small ones as well. You have much more of an impact. I mean, look. You may live in a state where your vote does count a whole fucking lot. So that may be true. My individual vote on a national level does not matter much where I'm at. But on a local level, it does. It does hold some importance because some people don't vote for those things. They just vote for the top of the ballot and they don't vote for the other stuff. So my voice becomes more important in those aspects. Hell yeah. So yeah, it is something to look into, to consider. I am not telling you to go out, folks in America. I am not telling you to go out and you must vote. I am not going to pretend that I am not telling you how to vote or whatever. But I am saying that on a local level, your voice means a hell of a lot and can be heard loud and clear. So consider it. Consider that if you'd like. Now I'm going to start working on this model kit. I got all the parts I need for the head. I don't usually do it like this. I usually just do one step, then the next step, but I got all the pieces out that I need. Some folks, this is how they do it all the time. They're always applying stickers or applying building their model kits this way. Okay, there we go. This kit is a Gelgoog. It does not require you to, it looks like we don't have to worry about the hoses and doing all the little things, which is excellent because that's a pain in the fucking ass. It can be. We do have to apply a sticker here, and that sticker that's our first sticker. It's an eye sticker. I am glad I'm doing this now instead of later in the stream because this is a small sticker that I want to apply correctly. Sorry for the reflection on these. I don't know why they made this the backing of this bright like that. So my apologies if that hurt. Aristofan says, "Hi Pat, this is a high grade, so more complicated, right? I just got here, so." This is a good thing. It's always good to remind folks about what the grades mean. Welcome, of course, as always. There are several grades. The easiest thing to build is the entry grade, which is fairly new relative to the other grades. Entry grades are the smallest kits, but they are very simple to put together. They often require 0 or maybe just a couple stickers. You do not need tools to assemble them. They are fairly straightforward, and you get yourself a nice little kit that feels maybe even a little bit like an action figure, but looks cool. The next step up is high grade. That is more difficult than a entry grade, but Generally, and for the longest time, those were the easiest kits to build. In difficulty, in the 144 scale, which high grades are also in the 144, um, you have the real grade, which is way more difficult. Real grades are the same size as a high grade, but are fucking sometimes a nightmare to put together because they are very detailed and look incredible. But they have a lot of tiny parts that have to go together just to do things. Like the head is often the piece of a model kit that has the most tiny parts because, it's the smallest section of a kit. But in the case of a real grade, it's like all of the parts are tiny parts. It's exaggeration, but you get what I'm saying. And then on the other end of the scale, towards the tail end of the scale, you have the master grade. Master grade are 1/100 scale. Those are way more detailed in some parts, and other parts not as much, but they're big. They're 1/100, so they're a large kit. They just have more mass. They're a bigger box and a bigger kit. And then at the very tippy top, which is not, they don't make a lot of master grades these days, but they certainly, on purpose, don't make a lot of perfect grades. Perfect grades are 160 scale. 160 scale. So it is incredibly big and very detailed. Yes. Got it confused. Thanks. The other day I saw a Gunpla box at my local game store that was ginormous, much of it a master grade. Yes, master grade boxes are often very big. They change in size and shape depending on the kit. Sometimes there are high grades that are big. Now, there are other grades. Unfortunately, that's not it. There are also other grades. There are other stuff. There is full mechanics are the 1/100 scale. Full mechanics are not quite master grades, but they're not quite high grades. They're in between. And the same thing for the RE100 line. The RE100 line, which seems to be dead, the Reborn One line, had some detail, but were mostly just kind of like high grades that were big. There is a non-grade, and the non-grade, sometimes the non-grade is very early kits. When I built some G Gundam kits that are like very tiny and not that detailed and maybe needed paint, you didn't get stickers, they really need paint, those are non-grades. But also, there's a Wing Gundam 160 scale non-grade that's like, it's a Wing Zero, and it's not Wing Zero. It's a Wing Zero, but not the custom. And that's fucking huge. It's unbelievably big, but also was a non-grade. That kit was that was a fun build. So yeah, there's a lot of grades. Oh, I should put this in first. I was like, why isn't this fitting in? I did this in the wrong order. This needs to go in now. Nope, that's not going right. Okay, where do you fit? You fit. Yeah, you fit in like here. There you go. That's where you want to be. Okay. But yeah, there's some large boys and some large boxes out there. Especially if they have like a big backpack or big wings or something like that. Those boxes can get goddamn big. All right, the head is done, except for panel lining, which we will do. And we will use the brown marker, the least used marker of my marker set here. I like using brown on red. I find that the panel lines pop that way, whereas black is too much. But that is a personal preference. People have their own opinions on how this looks. Some people like using brown on gold or yellow, and I don't like that. I like using the black on there. And then white or off-white or like light pink, I use gray on because black feels like too much of a contrast for that. Unless the kit is supposed to be like if I'm going for a comic book look, I might use black as the only one. There are other colors. These are the primary ones you get. Black people. A lot of people buy Gundam markers that are just the black, or they buy the black and the gray. This is my original brown from when I started, when I bought like a 3-pack. I have replaced the black and I have replaced the gray, but I've never replaced this brown because I just don't use it because there are only so many red kits, or kits with a lot of red in it. That is my least used marker. I probably should have a backup of it at some point. But yeah. All right, this kit's going to have a lot of brown marker because we do have 2 different color reds. I might on the darker red, because this is the lighter red, and then there's this dark red. I probably will use black on because it's so dark that I don't think the brown is even going to pop at all, whereas the black might give it more dimension. I think I'm going to do that. I won't really know until I see what it looks like against everything, but I think I'm going to do that. Because yeah, I think it'll pop out better that way. And again, a lot of this does get lost, unfortunately, on camera, but in person, it looks cool. Welcome. All right, so yeah, we completed the head. The head of our Gelgoog Menace is done. Now we are working on the seed action system. Basically, apparently we're going to have a good range of motion on our shoulders this way, which sounds neat. And then, as I said, this only has like 6 polycaps, so a lot of this is going to get done with just regular plastic. So we'll do that. Let's see. Some news stuff here. Okay, so this is some Twitch news here because this is not like crucial. It's just that there's some information in here that like there's context that is not provided here on GameDeveloper.com, who has this article, but I have some context on it that I feel like, okay, so I need 20, 21, and 20 and 21 all in for. But I have some context for it, so I figured I could at least talk about that. All right, so this 20 is this piece, and 21 goes into 20, so we'll do it like that. Twitch is, you may know that there are badges. Some of you have badges next to your names. You have the badge that you're like, how long you've been a subscriber, or if you've watched certain things, like if you've been to certain events and you logged in while you were in the building. You've watched live some events, stuff like that. We have some VIPs in the chat, because I set that. You don't need no stinking badges, yet you have 3 of them. Lord Crashington. 1 badge is going away. Twitch will be removing the game developer badge. This let people know that you were a game dev in chat, which was maybe a good idea and maybe wasn't a good idea, but it's only been around for 2 years. Basically, they said they need to restore their development organization review process. Basically, they don't. I'll say what they say, and then I will give my larger context about this. They launched it, and it messed up other stuff. Basically, you had to apply for the badge, right? It wasn't they didn't go out of their way to make sure everyone got one that was a developer. You had to apply for it, and that slowed down their process in requests for it within the category of people that work with developers. Developer organization, that's the people that make like extensions that let you build extensions, like, or if your game needs to have an extension, that's the group that does it. And basically applying for badges slowed down that process is what they say. And so they're going to refresh stuff, um, and they don't believe they're going to bring it back. So, um, what does this actually mean in the long term, Pat? Why are you bringing this up? Twitch pulls things out and changes and refocuses all the time. Well, it's why they got rid of it. It's not because of harassment or developers did not see any meaningful change in that or anything like that. They said it was pretty useful. The reason why they're getting rid of it is because it messed up their pipeline in order to talk to people and work with developers who want to have extensions for their game. And that's interesting to me. Because to me, that says we have too many, we don't have enough staff dealing with developers. And if we get rid of this, it will lessen the amount of work that our current team has. And a solution, one could argue, perhaps, would be to hire up a staff. If you are not meeting the demand of your staff, if your staff can't handle all these requests and has trouble communicating with people, perhaps you would like to have more people to do it. Which is true in many instances with Twitch lately. There have been people who have been set up for to be on the front page. Their contact suddenly disappeared. They didn't know, they just lost contact with anyone from Twitch they could talk to. Or if they were supposed to be on the carousel on a promised day. And so they hyped up and they changed their plans so they could stream that day so that they would have the biggest reach, or they would do a charity event that day instead of another day because that's the day they're going to be there. So they make plans for it. And then they don't show up on the carousel and there's no communication. A bunch of people have talked about this, that it's harder to get in touch with people at Twitch than it used to be. And the reason for that, or at the very least, one of the reasons for that is not a policy change. It is not a redirection or refocus. It seems to be, anyway. And again, this is from conversations, from observations, from some former employees talking. Twitch laid a bunch of people off and didn't rehire people. They have not hired up. And obviously, when you lay people off and you refocus and then you hire up, you are hiring new people at a lower rate. You are hiring people, you're trying to hire people maybe in states where you don't have to pay out as much, or have to, you want to have arbitration or whatever for various things. Like, sure, there are a bunch of reasons to do that. It is generally not just a cost-cutting measure. But Twitch does not seem to be hiring extensively. They are not replacing the people that they have lost with other people or closing projects. They are just spreading their employees thin. And that's trackable, because if you work for Twitch, you are in their database as not necessarily as a streamer, but as a Twitch employee. And because they want Twitch employees to stream, or at the very least to be active in streams and check out what's going on, which I think is smart and a good way to go with it. But the numbers haven't caught back up. And that's worrying. And I also want to say here, when I talk about Twitch, it is with the understanding, I am aware, of course, that Twitch is not an independently run company. They are owned and they operate themselves, but they have overlords. They have bosses. They have a company above them. And yes, Amazon has oodles and oodles of money. They have endless money. If Amazon wanted to, Twitch would hire up as many people as they needed. They would expand into other markets instead of reducing markets, which is what they're doing. only by a couple, but they would be expanding. They would be doing a variety of things. They would be making bigger brand deals that maybe would even cost them money on their end, but would long-term benefit. They would be incentivizing even more for more Amazon customers to try out Twitch, to get into Twitch. They would be doing Prime deals and integrate that more, and that doesn't happen. And I'm not saying that this is all Twitch's fault, and I'm not saying that this is all Amazon's negligence. I am just saying that I think we need to, when we talk about Twitch, it is with the understanding that they are owned, but it is also with the understanding that Twitch loses money, and Amazon seems to not want to pump endless money into Twitch as a growth thing, is what it seems to be. As long as Twitch is until the point that YouTube overtakes Twitch, which it has not. It has not. When it does, then maybe Amazon will look into bolstering and moving it up. YouTube has its own host of problems, but I will say this. Twitch's automated services their automated bans have recently had a large uptick in banning temporarily VTubers. And VTubing is a growth market. Also, coincidentally, some of those people that I mentioned earlier who've had trouble communicating with Twitch, that had been made promises that they'd never fulfilled, the carousel, the Twitch main page, those things, some of those people are VTubers. And when you have Iron Mouse have this monumental event and have all these subscribers and making all this noise, and also the weird coincidence that she was having issues with DMCA takedowns on her YouTube, to also be like, yeah, VTubers are really getting fucked over by Twitch a lot. It just looks bad. It is just handled poorly. The update on that Iron Mouse stuff is that manual review has come in on YouTube because Iron Mouse can make it. Iron Mouse is in a position to make enough noise that YouTube hears that those DMCA strikes were taken down. Basically, it was her VODs channel were sent some notifications, and that had the effect of also taking down her main channel, because those channels are connected. Because YouTube wants you to have multiple channels for different things, and all that. Have your long videos on one channel, have your smaller videos or your main video stuff on your main channel and all that. But it seems like in that instance, which is a different fucked story, a different kind of fucked up, these DMCA notifications came in from someone who has nothing to do with that stuff. That was a fake report put in by someone, because built into the DMCA, not YouTube. This is not YouTube policy I'm talking about here. I am not defending YouTube. I am just clearly stating what it is. DMCA. In order to claim things as yourself, you have to prove who you are. If you are a VTuber, you do not want to prove who you are to some random person. So yes, in this case, this DMCA takedown was most likely a doxing attempt. It was someone trying to find out personal information about Iron Mouse. So someone who is not in the position of Iron Mouse would instead just have their account gone, because maybe they would never hear from the right people to get it put back in. And I should also point out that like this does not affect as much agencies. You folks that work with HoloLive agencies, or like HoloLive as an example, they're the biggest one to talk about in this thing. They would be able to be like, oh, well, that page is registered, or that YouTube channel is registered to this person as a company, business, and they could just take care of it. And they have some people that are not VTubers, and they will take the heat on that. But yeah, independent VTubers are always in danger of a DMC takedown by maliciousness, beyond the like general bullshitness of those things. But yeah, complete and utter bullshit in that regard. So anyway, Twitch is cutting a program that maybe was beneficial, maybe wasn't, to restructure other things, because it really seems like they are in need of more bodies there, and hopefully they will. The budgets will reveal themselves in a way that they can do some of that, because that would be good. All right, so this is the part of the backpack here. This is like the shoulders, or sorry, the neck area here, but also the part of the backpack will connect into. So I need a polycap to go in here, one of our few polycaps, and then we can throw this on here. There we go. That, I mean, that's snug, which is nice, but it's also snug, which was a little annoying. All right, so now I need E1. I need a bunch of E1 parts and a G1 part, so we can work on the chest, and then we'll do some more panel lining. Let's see. We got a new game dev out there with two offices, one in Finland and one in Barcelona. They are known as Anti-Hero. Anti-Hero is made up of former Supercell developers. They are a multiplayer-focused studio. The former creative director of Supercell and the senior game designer of Brawl Stars and a technical director from King have come together. They also have a game designer from Ubisoft and some other developers on the team. They have secured funding from the Finnish government and a venture capital group as well that focuses on games. And they are, and they're going to be working on mobile games and multiplayer games. And I hope it goes well for them. But new game studios starting up, always nice to hear. So it felt like, hey, when I can throw in a nice little gaming news thing, it's fun. It's fun to be able to throw one of those in on occasion. Because also, I hope that if you have been playing a couple of multiplayer games that are out there from Hi-Rez Studios, that you get your enjoyment out of them, because they're shutting down in February. Specifically, Divine Knockout and Realm Royale Reforge. Do I know what either of these games are? No. Have I ever heard of them before this announcement? No. But still, somebody has been playing these at some point, and the fact that they're letting them exist until February means that, there was at least some amount of people that were enjoying it. Hi-Rez Studios, they have several developers under their banner. In this case, Evil Mojo Studios and Redbeard Games. And they are shutting them down. They had earlier in the summertime, they laid off a bunch of people. Basically, it seems like neither of these games took off. And instead of like hoping that there might be a surprise where like a famous streamer plays it and suddenly it becomes a big deal, they're just going to pull the plug so they can not be making new content for it, but supporting them until February, and then move everybody over to Smite 2 because it feels like they are going all in. And both these games did launch as paid games and then switched to a free to play and had some DLC and all of that. So they all both of those games did have a pivot, and now they are just going to be saying saying goodbye to that. And yeah, it seems like they're just going to focus on Smite 2. Seems to be where they're banking. It's been a rough year for multiplayer focused games or multiplayer only games. It seems like a risky investment to be making, but that's an investment that studios made several years ago. So, it's unfortunately, too little too late in some instances to say like, oh yeah, well, you shouldn't have done that. It's like, yeah. All right, so this piece needs to go here. Oh. It's like Rocket Booster, but it can move a little bit. Oh, that's neat. Okay, sure. That goes in there. And then that's going to go, that's going to go like this. A lot of nice layers on this. Okay. Oops. There we go. Fits back in there. And then, and then this can pivot and move around a little bit. That's nice. All right. Other things. Let's see. So you may have heard that some Nintendo Switch Online people to have that. There was a playtest thing, and apparently, people were supposed to not say anything about what it is, and then, of course, people have been saying what it is. And I don't. It's one of those things where like people were like, "Oh, what could this be?" And that's your first fucking mistake when it comes to Nintendo. Like, people dream big about what a Nintendo Switch Online playtest could be. They're thinking Pokemon thing or something massive or whatever. And that does not seem to be what it is. Let's see. It appears to be. Oh yeah, because it was like 10,000 people. People thought it was like, I don't know, because as a Nintendo fan, I would never think that's System John. Yeah, System John. Like, people were like, oh, this is like, we're going to test the Switch 2. And it's like, what? Why would you think that? Like, what? Or it's going to be like some kind of new version of the Switch Online subscription or whatever. And it's just like, I don't know. It seems like it's an MMO. And while, yes, to some people that's like not exciting at all, I don't know. Nintendo making it has to be the fastest an NDA ever gets broken. I don't know, Lord Crashington. I mean, it was fairly instant, but that post did get deleted. The first post did get deleted really fast, and then the others took a little while longer. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty up. I thought there wasn't one, says Lashbrook. So when we say NDA, it wasn't an NDA. They didn't sign anything. By agreeing to be in it, you said you wouldn't talk about it. So it wasn't a non-disclosure agreement. It was a, hey, if you want to do this, don't tell anybody about this. People were saying NDA because that's shorthand, but it wasn't officially technically an NDA. But yeah, it's they're making an MMO. The goal is to work with others to fully develop a massive, expansive planet by utilizing creativity and farmed resources. They're just like, yeah, all right, sure, cool. I don't know. I feel like while there are plenty of adults who would think that that is tedious or weird, there are plenty of kids that might be really into that. Also, plenty of fucking adults who say that disappoints them, but in reality are fucking like, ooh. Um, Throughout your adventures, players will be granted special tools known as beacons. These beacons emit a healing light that purifies and develops the land. The higher your beacon is placed, the wider the beacon zone becomes. Within your beacon zone, your best work can be done. Players will repeat the process until their current planetary block is considered fully developed. Um, and you could run around and hang out, and basically a social hub kind of thing. Yes. Yeah, don't talk about Nintendo Club. Um, there is one thing they are going to do user generated content, but apparently you have to do like a test in order to see user generated. In order to share user generated content, you basically have to do like a are you cool test, which seems weird, but also very Nintendo. I don't know. So people are really fucking down on this, and I was just like, yeah, okay. I don't know. Sounds very fucking Nintendo, and sounds like something that would be interesting and some people could really get into. And I don't know, maybe some people want to do some massively multiplayer, non-violent shit. I don't know. Some people like that stuff. Oh, it doesn't seem stranger than a lot of other Nintendo shit. Only if it shouts a new hand touched the beacon when you act with it. Yes. Yes, Dirty. Uh yeah, it's like I don't know, it just seems like a collaborative kind of like builder farmer. I don't know. I'm not like mad about it. Sorry. Sorry that I can't give you reactionary content that you can clip and then post to your own social media. Uh, but that, yeah, you mean if you want to find that, I'm sure it will not be hard to find people being like, that's what the fuck it is, and it's not this, and it's not that. Nintendo hates it for everybody. They're making game for babies. I don't get it. And like, why isn't this a Pokemon MMO? Nintendo just released an alarm clock. They're unhinged, and I have no idea what they'll do next. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Seems neat. I guess, I guess I should be mad about it because it's not amazing and incredible and groundbreaking. It's just like like a chill MMO. But I don't know. It seems kind of neat. Sorry. Sorry, I'm not mad about it. There's a lot to be mad about out there, and I just can't find. I can't bring myself to be mad about Nintendo is doing a thing, and they're gonna hopefully have fun with it. Sorry, I'm yawning. That's unprofessional of me, and I am working right now, so I should not be yawning. So my apologies. Oh, before I say this last thing, which isn't much at all, I should just give you just we're gonna jump back a hair a little bit because I realized I didn't say this when I talked about the Twitch thing. Um, I'm talking about the company of Twitch. I'm not talking about employees of Twitch. When I talk about the employees that are still there, that was not a dig on them. So when we raid Mary tonight, We're not like, hey, Mary, why are badges going away? We're not doing that. We're not sending a tweet at Drew Scanlon and being like, Drew, do you know why this happened? Like, no, we don't do that. We don't work that way. That's not how this works. That's not what it is. In the same way, we didn't ask Nick Chester for V-Bucks back in the day. Um, and we're not asking, it's like we're not doing that. We're not playing that game. We don't get in on that. We're not messing around in that way. We're going to hang out with Mary later by rating Mary's stream. It's because Mary Kish is streaming on a Monday because it's a Monday. She's been getting a bunch of people yelling about the current controversy, so they're locked down the comments a bit. Yeah, and that happens, right? Because Mary is a public figure, because she is an employee of Twitch that not only exists in this world and is online and streams, is actively a streamer on a weekly basis, but also because she's hosted events for Twitch. She's hosted community-focused, roundups and panels and events at TwitchCon. She is a public face, right? So she is not above accountability, but also in many ways is the person that folks associate that will just at because they don't know what else to do, right? An old friend of mine works at YouTube, and he gets tweets all the time about YouTube from all corners of YouTube. He works on YouTube gaming stuff, which is like one of the least influential parts of YouTube. But he's a guy on there that people know because they remember he used to be in College Humor. So they'll go, hey, Jeff, what the fuck's going on with this thing? And he has to go, nothing. He won't respond. But it's a bummer. And Mary deals with a lot of that as well. Also, always important to have the context of Mary being a woman. Makes things both Mary Kish by making herself someone who is in any way, shape, approachable in the world, opens herself, unfortunately, up to a lot of goddamn fucking bullshit. And I know that my community will not be part of that or would not condone such behavior, but it's still important to at least mention that stuff, to be like, hey, that's a reminder, that's a person, that's our friend Mary, that is a real person who exists and who is just an employee of a company. You know? Employees are not the end all be all. They are not the spokespeople unless it's their fucking job to be a spokesperson. They are just someone doing their jobs. They do not bleed purple. They're just doing their fucking best. Or, you know what? Not saying Mary. Anyway, I'm not commenting on Mary's work ethic. Maybe they're not doing their best. Maybe they just go to a fucking job like everybody else, you know? Folks don't have to be doing their best in 2024. I'm okay with that. You know, I'm pretty okay with people just getting shit done and keeping their goddamn heads down. Like I'm okay with that shit. If that's how you're at work, like Godspeed. She streams in her off time. It's okay to talk about Twitch stuff she's involved with, but not the stuff getting people angry that she has no involvement with. Yes, like, you know, if community stuff is coming up and people are excited about things, or like, if there are layoffs and you want to be like, I hope you're okay and I hope your work doesn't suffer because, you know, your work environment doesn't suffer about that. Like, you can talk about those things. Or like, if you want to, you know, hey, she ain't got a job with it, but if you're just like, I hope there's a TwitchCon on the East Coast of the United States, because that is a thing that some people would like. They would like an East Coast TwitchCon and not a West Coast TwitchCon. I think that's totally reasonable. If the conversation of TwitchCon comes up, you could be like, I just wish they would do one on the East Coast. And I think that's totally reasonable to say in a chat, in a conversation. Now, if Mary is talking about her dog or talking about the video game she's playing, and you just want to first chat message go, hey, why isn't this happening at the company you work at? You can fuck off and go to hell. Yes, Twitch San Antonio. Yes, the city of San Antonio, famous for wanting nerd conventions and really supporting them. God. Um, all right, we do these shoulders two at a time, so we're going to work on these shoulders. We need D1, D2, C1, and C2, and then we'll need F and G as well. F's out, get our G's out. F1. But yes. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is, Lord Crashing. Like, yeah, I'm sure that's what she's getting. She's getting unprompted, oh, I know this person works there. This is where I'm going to vent in this person's community, as opposed to the conversation is going somewhere and we're saying like that. Like, you know, I think that is, and that's with anything, right? Like, you know, I don't have a good example for this right now. If you have an issue with Extra Life, right? And you are a community member of mine and you're like, actually, Pat, I'm a little bummed that you're doing Extra Life and here are my reasons why. I will fucking read that. I might read it out loud. I might say, we should take this, send me a Discord message or something like that. We might do it in a different venue, but I'm willing to hear you out and talk because you're a member of my community and that's fine. But if you find out that I'm doing Extra Life and you come into my stream because you have an agenda against Extra Life and you think your first chat message is going to be, why the fuck are you doing this thing? Then I'm going to say, you could go to hell. This is not the venue for that. I think that's reasonable. Community team isn't customer service or moderation. Yeah, if you, Mary Kish doesn't know why your favorite streamer got banned. Maybe she does. Maybe she does. Maybe she actually knows why your favorite streamer got banned. But most bans are auto mod bans for shit behavior and like are global. And so she doesn't fucking know. I'm not a first-time chatter, but you can also tell me to go to hell if I come at you like that, says John. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, John, if you were like, like this game that you're gonna be playing, the dev said this shit, did you know about it? I'd be like, oh fuck, all right, we can talk about that. But if I'm playing a game and a first-time chatter comes in and goes, I'm going to everyone playing this game to sound off about my feelings on this game, I'm like, oh, that's not healthy, or that's weird. Okay, well, I don't need to be part of your agenda. I think it's just like, all right. But yeah, like, Mary doesn't know. Mary isn't making policy. She is enforcing policy in her job, but she's not out there, making show that your favorite racist streamer doesn't get to fucking be on Twitch for a couple days. Like, that's not what she is. But she is someone that people, because she has made herself available in some fashion, in some element, she unfortunately gets abuse for it, and it fucking sucks. I don't know. I don't have a good and the way to fix that is this. I don't, other than heavy modding, easy use of timeouts and blocks and all that. Reminder, you can just fucking block people. Who cares? That has been the lovely thing on Blue Sky. Somebody was just like, you can look up blocks and see who's blocked. Only 20-something people have blocked me on Blue Sky, which is low. I'm like, oh, fuck, my reach isn't that strong on Blue Sky because I've only been blocked by, I haven't been blocked by that many people. Not that I look for blocks. I'm not saying that. But just oh, dang. Got to work a little harder. I am going to be putting up a YouTube video next Monday for Pat Baer's Anime Club, where I talk about an anime that is people don't want to that wish didn't exist. J Bob style. Yes, it's Silent Bob style, yeah. It was brought. I knew that there was an anime coming out this year. I thought it got postponed because it wasn't listed on AnyChart. When AnyChart did all of their preview, AnyChart lists everything that is Japanese in origin, right? They generally don't list things that are like American studios. Like they didn't want to list Scott Pilgrim, and eventually they did. Um, they eventually did cave and list Scott Pilgrim, but they weren't intending to originally. Um, but there's an anime they didn't list that exists, that's out, that Crunchyroll is doing a optioned and is out. And Crunchyroll is also promoting. Like it's Crunchyroll doesn't promote every single show because they have so many shows now. When Sony bought them, they got rid of, the biggest competition is gone. So they have a lot of fucking anime and they don't have to promote everything and they don't promote a lot of things. But they're promoting a show. And I'm going to talk about it for next Monday. And the idea that I am going to cover that is going to open up me to nasty comments that I will have to manage on my YouTube. Not too much, probably, because I'm not that big. But there are going to be people who are going to be searching that name so they can tell me how disgusting it is that this show exists, that the manga exists, that I'm talking about it, and it wasn't me vitriolically debasing it, because I will be talking about its existence. But I am prepared for that. Now, Anichart that anime does not exist to Anichart, because that is easier than them constantly having those debates, right? Anichart is a fucking website that a lot of people use, obviously myself included. So they are just looking at long term. They want to reduce that. But here's the thing, Lord Crashington, I am going to be in the discourse. I'm joining the discourse because I'm going to talk about a thing. I'm just not going to do it in the way that some people want. And then the fun thing is, this is actually the point of the video that I am part of the point of the video, which is not something that I have. Is the shitty thing is I am going to be defending the idea that a work should exist, even if I don't think it's good. So I can only go so far on the bat on this video because I don't think Crunchyroll should have picked it up, because I don't think it's very good. Because I think it exists on people thinking it's something else based on its title, which, to their credit or sneakily, Crunchyroll did not put the real title on. I should say it here. The anime is Suma Show, with a T, Suma, with a T, Suma Show. So they did not give an exact translation of it. Crunchyroll is just calling it Suma Show. My anime list does have it listed, but again, it is not part of their weekly, it did not come up in conversation. YouTube style discourse were the outlandish thumbnails. Yes. Yeah, I'm not going to go that hard. Yeah. I'm not going to, yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, I don't, it's good. It's on Crunchyroll, as I said, and Annie Plus in parts of the country, in parts of the world that don't have Crunchyroll, because that's just the way those things worked out. But yeah, it's wild to me that Crunchyroll picked it up. It's wild to me that it hasn't been a bigger deal that it exists and is out there. They call it a romantic comedy, and that's why people are mad about it, because it's an anime about a girl that shows up, a young girl, I think she's 10, shows up at a house and is like, it's me, your wife. Because this family, this father and daughter, lost the wife and mother, and that person has been reborn as an elementary school student now, and that person is re-entering their life. And it's not a romantic comedy, it's a drama about trauma and moving on and acceptance, and these people have been stunted for years and how they can come together. And it's kind of fucking moving, but also not very good. That's the big part of it. I'm kind of giving away the video. It's also not very good and not really well done, and also tries to make you think it actually is going to be about this guy deciding that he's going to hang out with his wife who's now a child. And it's not that. But it wouldn't hate if you thought it was that, because then maybe you'll pay attention to it. And Crunchyroll is fucking promoting the show. And I'm like, why? Of all the things this season. What? What? It's not good enough to withstand, to be defended. But also, people that think that it is a predatory show or a gross show, or what some people imagine all anime is, are wrong. But they're wrong, but like not so wrong that we need to watch it in spite of them. It's a lot. Lord Crash, there's so much they could promote. I mean, I'm mad that they didn't promote Dahlia last season, because that show was good. But I don't know. They should promote the anime that one of the animes I'm watching. They should promote I'll Become a Villainess Who Goes Down in History. Telling people they're wrong will certainly make them calm down. Yes, Lord Crashin, that's why I am prepared for the backlash that I will receive for even bringing up this anime on Monday when it comes out. I am preparing myself that in discussing it, I am opening the door for strong criticism from people. And that's fine. I just want to go on record and talking about it because I didn't talk about it in the season preview. But also, I'm not big enough to warrant my video about how this anime exists will not get me canceled. I don't think. Maybe it will. But it won't lead to my downfall or me to be doxxed or anything like that. It will just lead to some people being kind of fucking pissed off at me that I'm talking about it at all. And those people will be people that are Google searching the name of the show in order to talk to me about it. But yeah, I want to handle from all sides how Crunchyroll didn't do a literal translation of the show title. How but they are promoting it. How this show people that read the one-line description are so convinced they know what the show is about. All those things. Like we'll get into it from various angles. You've got a preview tonight because I just kind of wanted to talk about that. But I'm prepared for that. That's what I'm saying this whole time. I'm going to do a very truncated version of my self-promotion here. Just a couple things real quick. If you are currently a subscriber, you can throw the Bear Cave Lego Scythe Tier 2 blue emote in the chat. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support me here through Cash Money or your Prime Gaming token. If you have Amazon Prime, you can link with your Twitch. You can subscribe to somebody. If you want to subscribe to me with that token, that would be great. Or Cash Money. I haven't mentioned that there's a promotion until the end of the month from Nitro. The Nitro promotion. If you want to gift a sub to someone in this community, because we haven't had any gifted subs this month. If you want to gift a sub, or if you want to become a subscriber for the first time to me, you will get 3 months of Discord Nitro, which is their like premium Discord thing. So that's cool. That is a thing. That is a promotion that's happening right now. Also, bits and coins always appreciated. If you want to be part of the cheerleader board, you want to join Harold at the top of the cheerleader board, you can do that. These are other things I want to say. I mean, I've got a Patreon. I'll mention that. Patreon.com/PatBaer. You can always jump in there. $1, $3, $5, $10 tier. My YouTube channel, youtube.com/Pat Baer. Go over to my YouTube channel, see if you want to jump in on there. Uh, Memberships there, $2 a month. You get my Wednesday videos early, so tomorrow you get a video. You'll find out one of the other shows that were one of my favorites from the summer 2024 season. So you can take a look at that. And you can do a direct donation if you want to do that. Everything I make through all those things goes to me buying model kits. I have an Amazon wish list. You could buy something from my Amazon wish list. If you want to decide what I build next, once this kit is done, you can buy something from my wish list. I recently added a couple things to the list that you should check out. I added another knockoff Lego set, fake Lego. Let me find that. Where is that? Where did that go? Where is that? Oh, yes. The Cherry Blossom Bonsai Tree micro building set. It somehow has 3,000 pieces, over 3,000 pieces, and a train in there. So it's micro, so I bet they're very tiny, and I bet that's going to suck ass. But it's on my wish list. I added a model kit or two here recently. The Gunner Zaku Warrior, which I guess I've never built before. I've built variations of that. But yeah, a bunch of stuff in there that I'd be happy to build. See if there's something on the wish list you'd like to see me build, like maybe the Forbidden Gundam, the R09 Forbidden Gundam. It's just fun to say. It's got a cool backpack, but mostly it's cool because it's from Seed and it's called the Forbidden Gundam. Ooh, forbidden. That's just fun to say. See if there's something there you'd like to see me build. You can pick that up. I recently updated my throne wish list. So if you want an alternative to Amazon that's an actual alternative, you can go there and see if there's something there you'd like to pick up for me. USA Gundam Store. You go to USA Gundam Store. You buy a gift card. They send you a code in your email with a gift card code. Then you can send me a whisper here on Twitch or a DM on Twitter or a DM on Twitter, a private chat on Blue Sky, or a private mention on Mastodon with that gift card code. And I will use that gift card code to buy something from USA Gundam Store. If you want to do that. Is there any other things? Oh, join my Discord if you haven't already. It's a cool place. You're welcome to come hang out on my Discord. We'd love to have you there. A couple of video links. I said what my next Pat Bear's Anime Club is going to be. The current Pat Bear's Anime Club is me talking about all the isekai that are out right now. I always do that every month. I do a rundown of all the isekai, and if I am watching them, maybe going to watch them or skip them. And this time around, I have stuck around. I did drop one that I said I was going to check out, so I was wrong. Or maybe I'd said it was a maybe. I can't remember. But Loner Life in Another World is just slow and animated fucking poorly, and I didn't feel like watching it anymore. And then Kuma Baer. I've been talking all this month about some of my favorite shows from the past season, and you can watch this video to see more of that. Which one was I? This one was about Dahlia and Bloom, which is a lovely little romance, a slow burn romance series that just so happens to be an isekai. You can check that out. And then I should put this here in the comments here that you can if you wanted to, even before the stream, you can just donate to my Extra Life if you wanted to before November 2nd. If you want to get in there and donate early, you could. And you can find out more about what the stream is going to be and how that all works. I have joined Team Giant Bomb because it is cool to be part of a team. I am one of 19 people participating in there, and we have collectively, although none from me, but collectively raised $2,652.36, which is cool. That's just neat. So yeah, if you want to check that out, you can check out the roster page and see what people are up to. So yeah, check that out. That'll be November 2nd. So I am going to talk about some anime that I watched. No manga tonight, but 2 anime shows. We'll do that. And I am going to drink some water and we'll dramatically transition back to the overhead camera right now. All right. Let's get into it. Get back into it. Okay, anime. We will talk about episode 3 of the remake of Ranma 1/2, and we will talk about the first 2 episodes of Gundam Requiem for Vengeance, both on Netflix. The Netflix subscription coming in clutch. Yeah, if you were wondering, Pat, are you going to talk about the new Gundam show? The answer is yes. I'll talk about the first 2 episodes of the new Gundam show. But first, this episode of Ranma 1/2. If you are unfamiliar with Ranma 1/2, our main character Ranma is a dude who, he's not the best guy. He's a little fucking sexist. And if he is exposed to water, he turns into a female version of himself. Ranma-chan. She has pigtails that are pink. Ranma hates this. He is engaged to be married to Akane and now lives with Akane. This is a partnership born out of the friendship and rivalry of their parents, and not something either of them particularly want. Akane is not, because Akane is very popular with boys, she is constantly dealing with their bullshit and them trying to fight her because she's a skilled fighter in her own right. And as I said, Ranma is definitely a chauvinist and not interested in marrying a girl that is also a martial artist, because we found out in the second episode, he's not interested in fighting girls. Now, also what happened in the second episode is a guy that has been heavily interested in Akane, Tadawaki, ended up fighting with Ranma in his female form and now has an unbelievable crush on Ranma-chan. We find out that Tadawaki shows up and kind of freaks out Ranma previously. He has a plushie that he would like a Nabiki to give to Ranma. Apparently Nabiki has taken photos of Ranma-chan and is trying to sell them, which Tadawaki purchases because that is the major element of Nabiki, is her, let's say, resourcefulness. Yeah. Let's see. Apparently, but we find out, hey, Akane, he's still interested in her. Apparently, this dude who cannot beat either of these people in a fight, cannot do it, wants to date both of them. Progressive. Let's see. Ranma does not want the plushie, or does not want, the plushie. As a male, he tells this dude, hey, just fucking back off. Let's see. Tadawaki tries to fight him, but Ranma has been turned into a lady and runs away. This is an ongoing issue with Ranma. He will have this scenario happen to him multiple times throughout the course of this series, where he's about to do something and then somehow an amount of water gets on him and he transforms for hilarious results, because this is, of course, a comedy. It is an action comedy, but it is still a comedy. So there will always be shenanigans. The shenanigans will be plentiful and varied, but they will always be there. That seems like a threat, and I don't know why it came off like one. Um, let's see. There's a whole thing where he like chops down a tree to catch Ranma. Um, uh, he gets turned back into a male and then attacks Tadawaki. Uh, Tadawaki thinks that Ranma did some kind of trick to make Ranma-chan disappear. Uh, Nabiki tries to explain what's going on, and of course, like genuinely, honestly, like why would anyone, without visually seeing it themselves, why would anyone believe that Ranma turns into a girl version of himself? Like what? What? Um, we get to see Dr. Tofu, who is a Dr. Tofu is a chiropractor, but let's see. Oh yeah, Akane gets mad at Ranma for fighting. Um, Ranma's just like, I took these photos from him. They had photos of both of them. Uh, and then that's where Nabiki's just like, yeah, I sold, like, where did the photos come from? She's like, oh, I sold them to him for money. They go to Dr. Tofu's. Dr. Tofu's like, hey, Ranma, could please be nice to Akane. He's like, cause she's a good girl. She's a good girl. You'll come to like her. You know, just like give her a shot. They bicker, of course. Akane again. As stated previously, a big part of this show is sometimes accidentally, sometimes on purpose, him getting turned into a girl because he hates it. So she sprays him with a hose, turn him into a girl. Genma and Ranma spar a bunch. Let's see. Oh, the reason why she sprayed him with a hose in that instance was actually cute because he was injured and Akane was carrying him, but he didn't want to be carried home as a boy because of inherent, issues with masculinity, toxic masculinity, so it's okay for her to carry home the female version of him, but not the male version. Yeah. Ranma gets turned into a girl from the old woman that also did that in the second. I'm pretty sure that's the same old woman from the second episode. Recurring gag. They've been arguing about Tofu because it's very clear that she has like a crush on him, which is weird. And she does not like that Ranma brings it up. Let's see. Let's see. The boys have apparently given up on fighting because they acknowledge that Ranma is engaged because they have heard of the engagement. Except for, of course, Tadawaki, who is still mad. And then Ranma confronts him, but Ranma is in her female form, so of course he's all over her and talking her up and trying to make shit happen. And so now Ranma, female form Ranma, and Akane have a plot, and they expose Tadawaki as a womanizer because, of course, he's interested in. I mean, he's trying to be polyamorous more than anything else, but whatever. He's trying to woo both of them because he has plans to date both of them. Let's see. Ranma and Akane both attack him at the end of that. It doesn't really work out for them. Ranma, as a dude, does some cool athleticism because, of course, he's a martial artist and he is trying to make friends with some of the other boys in his class because he doesn't really have a lot of friends. So he's trying to do a little male bonding. He tells the boys, oh, yeah, well, Akane, she's got a crush on somebody. Of course, that is Dr. Tofu. Um, and then Ranma gets hit with an errant baseball that Akane hits. Uh, and we find out that Genma is working for Dr. Tofu. This is now in this episode the second time that Ranma has been injured. That is for some reason the way these this adaptation of the manga went. We just got a couple in the same episode. Ranma has a face wound, and let's see. I should mention that Genma is working for Tofu, but in panda form, so he can't answer the phone or talk to anyone. Apparently, this person is this customer is someone that Tofu has the hots for, which is inappropriate. He's a chiropractor. That's still a doctor. He should not have feelings for a customer. That is, or a patient. That is inappropriate, Dr. Tofu. Let's see. And that is apparently Kasumi. He's in love with Kasumi. Kasumi shows up, and Akane is definitely fucking pissed off about that. Ranma tries to console Akane, tries to cheer her up, and she's fucking like pissed off that he is trying to help her. So they go and spar for a bit, and they fight each other. Ranma like literally compliments her, and she does not have any way to respond to that, which is fun. And then she goes away to kind of like think about things, and he bursts into her room because he doesn't realize that he's done what he was supposed to do. So he's just like, hey, I got these toys. And she's just not happy about it. And that's the end of the episode. So overall, the animation of this is top notch. It's looking really good. I think some of these gags feel incredibly dated, right? Obviously, the sexism stuff and the machismo stuff feels very dated. I don't know if this show works if Ranma is cool with the fact that he turns into a lady. I think it probably doesn't quite work that way. But it does not make him likable. He is the most likable he was in 3 episodes was when he was trying to console Akane and make her feel better just because that was the right thing to do. But that is not necessarily his general MO. I think the fight scene stuff always looks good in this show, and they're doing a good job with that. But yeah, some of the material feels very dated. Still enjoyable. Don't get me wrong. I still am enjoying this remake of Ranma 1/2. But yeah, I think some of the humor works and some doesn't, and it will feel grating over time. But I'm still excited. I'm still happy it's there, and I'm still watching. Because yeah, I'm liking it. I have let my High Dive subscription lapse because there's nothing this season that I want to watch on High Dive. So I have let that lapse, and I will get it back probably next season. I mean, eventually there'll be Oshinoko Season 3, so I'll need it. But probably next season there'll be something I want to watch on High Dive. But yeah, the only show that I was interested in checking out was Loner Life in Another World, and I'm not going to check that out. I might marathon it later or skip to later episodes. But yeah, I'm not super into that show. So I let my subscription lapse. Not going to renew it. Okay, so Gundam Requiem for Vengeance is on Netflix. It all came out on the 17th, all 6 episodes of this. I do not believe there is any more. I think it is just 6. This takes place in towards the end of the 1-year war. So it focuses on the Red Wolves division, specifically one pilot in the Red Wolves division who are defending in Europe against the EFF. Of course, produced by Sunrise, and Safe House. This is the second computer animated, only computer animated since Igloo. And it is made in Unreal 5. That's right. This is an Unreal engine making it anime, which is interesting. Do I want to go through some plot details, or do I want to? Hey, I think this looks like shit. I don't like it. I don't like looking at it. I will watch all 6 episodes of this. When I finish the second episode, I did not say, ooh boy, I have time to watch the third. I did something else instead of watching the third episode because I hate how this looks. I absolutely despise this computer generated nonsense. I think it looks like shit. Look, I will give any Gundam series a chance. I'm trying to like this one. I think the storytelling is totally fine. I think the voice acting is solid. I think it's doing well. We've got we're in Romania. We've got Zeon Force fighting the Earth Federation. In Romania, we have the Red Wolf Zaku unit, led by Captain Iria, and they find they basically they're there to like help out. They're gonna like switch the momentum of this fight, and they show up, and the base is completely abandoned. And then apparently there's a surprise attack by the Federation, and we've got a Federation Gundam EX mobile suit shows up, and just like completely trounces the Red Wolves. So we get a Gundam that in theory looks cool, but again, in practice, I'm not psyched about. I don't like the look of. I was not into this Gundam. This Gundam did not bring me joy. Just because of every element of it. Unfortunately, the other elements of this. In the second episode, obviously, the Red Wolves get trounced. Arya survives, and she goes to try to find other survivors within her crew. And she does manage to find Lisan. Let's see, one. And they're trying to find other survivors because there is a. Mic cut out there for a second. I tapped it in the wrong place, and it disconnected for a second there. But we're back. Yeah, they find some other. They're trying to hook up with our survivors. They tell people to evacuate, and they grab some Zaku tanks. A second lieutenant volunteers to take a fuel truck to act as a signal for the evacuation, like because they need some kind of way to signify people, and this is not obviously, but this is that's a suicide mission. The fuel truck gets detonated to slow down the Gundam so that the unit can escape, but that does not really slow down the Gundam. So the convoy pursues the convoy, but then, hey, in what should be fucking cool and should be a moment where I go, fuck yeah, we get some goofs. Some goddamn goofs show up to fight the Gundam. And then it's not that long of a fight scene. And the Gundam EX beats the goofs, but then seems to decide in the last minute to let the convoy escape. For whatever reason that I'm sure comes up in the next episode, but I don't know what it is. I was disappointed in that goof fight. I wanted that goof fight to go longer because I really like the goof. The goddamn goof. Yeah. Look, a story from Zeon's point of view. I'm not opposed to it. War is hell, and we can look at war from a variety of angles. I am not here to say, oh, well, this is bad because it focuses on these characters, and these are characters that I want to see, and blah, 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 and I don't want to root against a Gundam, all that stuff. War is fucked, and so I can appreciate a variety of that kind of thing. My major issue and why I don't recommend it is I think it looks bad. I just think it's animated poorly and it looks like shitty and it's not a good series. I think in like 2 years people are going to go like, "Oh, when did that come out? Like 2004?" It's like, "No, that's 2000." Like it feels like an animation project from 20 years ago. It's incredibly dated for what it is. And it's wild to think that it is the, like, I don't know. It's wild to think about, like, the legacy of Gundam. And this is a Gundam. This is a goddamn Gundam series. Um, I don't know. Maybe I'm being too hard on it. I don't know. Like, maybe I need to check myself. Maybe I'm wrecking myself on this one, but I walked away from it pretty unhappy. I wanted to like it way more than I have. Um, no, that's just where I'm at with it. Um, But now I want to hear from you, friends. You listen to me, like a show and dislike a show. What are you watching right now? What are you playing? What are you up to? What are you into? I love hearing from you about what got you excited. Last night I watched some wrestling with some friends and really enjoyed my time with Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, even though I'm heartbroken that there is a tournament where they are featuring wrestlers from that have debuted this year and wrestlers that debuted last year. And in the first round, in the very first match of the first round, my pick to win the whole thing lost. Himawari lost, and Himawari made it to the finals. She made it to the goddamn finals last year, and she lost in the first round to Toga, who is like a fine wrestler, but Himawari has it all together. And I guess they're just like, well, maybe it'll mean something. I don't know. It's wild. I do know that this weekend another match in the tournament happened, but it wasn't streamed. So even though I know the results, I'm not going to say it because it isn't available for everybody to watch. But I was shocked, completely surprised that my girl Himawari lost. It was just like, what the fuck? What are we even doing here? Because again, she was my pick to win the whole tournament, and she instead lost in the first round to Toga. Wild. Also, Runa, who debuted last year and is the third youngest wrestler in Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, or the second youngest. She is going on hiatus so she can focus on her high school career, which basically is code for she promised her parents she'd keep her grades up and be while she was being a wrestler, and seemingly is not doing that. So she is unfortunately on indefinite hiatus, and we don't know if she'll be back or not. I hope she is because she's fun. But she was not in this tournament, and people thought it was because she got injured, but it seems like it's because she's retiring. She does have a match coming up this weekend, her last match before she goes on hiatus, and her last match is against Kamayu, so she was going to get kicked in the head on the way out. But yeah, a little bit of a bummer. And this weekend we also have Haru versus Uda, and I can't imagine they're going to have Uda win against Haru, but they might. But Haru is my dark horse pick. She's not going to win the tournament, but it'd be fucking cool if she made it to the finals on that bracket. I think that would be rad. If it was Toga or the other person that Toga is fighting, who I don't think it will be. I think it's going to be Toga. I think it's going to be Toga versus Wakana, and Wakana is going to win the whole thing again. She'll be back-to-back winners, which is boring. But if Haru managed to beat Wakana, that would be cool as fuck. But I'm not expecting it. Ghostvow says, I'm still caught up on Dandadan and Great British Baking Show. Picked up Mass Effect again, finishing 1 right now. Okay. Oh, all the way back to 1. Nice. Making last preparations for my Magic Con Vegas trip with my flight on Thursday morning. Hell yeah. Ghostvow, have a fucking fantastic time at Magic Con. I hope you have a great, great time. If you see anyone from Loading Ready Run, say hi. I mean, Nelson and I have never met, so I don't know if that would mean anything to him, but just about, I think, everybody else. Wheeler and I have never met in person, but we have communicated via the internet. But I don't know if Nelson would recognize my name. But I think anyone else besides Nelson would recognize my name. And feel free to say hello to them for me. Because that would be nice. But yeah, have a fucking great, have fun. As Aristofan rightly puts it, have fucking fun at MagicCon. I hope that, I know that October Vegas is not as bad as summer Vegas. But also just do your best with the heat, because it'll still be warm, because it's still the desert. In addition to Metaphor Refantasio, says Aristofan, this weekend I went to a live performance of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth music. It's the first time I've gone to one of those things, and it was a lot of fun. I went to Video Games Live, fuck Tommy Talgarico, but I went to Video Games Live and had a gorgeous time at it. I went with a friend who likes video games but doesn't like think about video game soundtrack. But then like I can't remember what it was, but a song came on. Oh, a Civ song. Not even like a Civilization song came on, and she like instantly started crying because she was just like, I've heard this song a thousand times, and like that got her. Mostly she was just like, this is fun. But yeah, I had a great time with that. I'm glad you had a good time at Video Games Live. Those are a good time. Yeah, those things are at Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Yeah, that's fun. John says, still playing Earth Defense Force 6 and Metaphor Refantasio. I tuned out for the Gundam talk because I'm hoping to watch it next week. Yeah, next weekend. John, yeah. I don't think I'm going to be covering, I'm not going to recap anything I said, obviously, no spoilers. I will just say, I'm probably not going to recap 3 through 6. I might, but yeah, you'll be safe for me at least like next week. If you don't get it to it, you'll be safe for me for a while. I might, towards the end of the season, say like, okay, now I watched it, let me tell you about it, but I think we're good for now. Lashbrook watched Rampage, Collision, and Battle of the Belts today. I gotta say, most of the matches were good, but they really phoned that BOTB in. Yeah, Lashbrook, what is probably the last Battle of the Belts? We did get Anna Jay winning an eliminator, which she enters a very small group of people that have done anything meaningfully on Battle of the Belts. She is one of 2 people that has won an eliminator. Sammy Guevara won the TNT title interim at the first Battle of the Belts, and then Sammy Guevara is the only person to ever beat a champion for a title there. And then also she joins in one other person that won eliminator, who I can't remember who that is, and the Von Erichs and Dustin Rhodes, who won the Ring of Honor 6-man belts that were, but there was no champion for it. They were vacated when the Bang Bang gang got stripped of them. So Anna Jay joins a kind of productive small little group of people. The fact that they had a squash match that had nothing to do with the title was really bad. And then one of the belt matches was a thrown together, let's defend these titles against these people we already beat up. That sucks. It was too close to Battle of the Belts was too close to Title Tuesday and too close to a pay-per-view. I think Battle of the Belts was kind of fun because when it was after Rampage. Excuse me. Pre-Collision, when Collision was not a show, and they just had Dynamite and Rampage, doing a live episode of Rampage now and again with the Battle of the Belts after that was cool. That was a fun, cool thing. Now it is not cool. And I believe I think that's going to be the last one. I think they've done their allotted for the year. Who knows? They might do another one, but yeah, it ended on a whimper. I thought Rampage was fun. I thought Collision was pretty solid. I think the main event was longer than it needed to be, but otherwise pretty good. My big takeaway is that while I do not like the major storyline going on, because I think Moxley's promos are bad right now, I think that it's just not a good story. That I don't think they're telling a good story because we are in the phase where all we see is the top heels in the company beating up mid-carders instead of elevating mid-carders. And the people that should be fighting them aren't fighting them yet for unknown reasons. And that's weird. And then you end up with... Here's the thing I like about AEW right now. They're promoting things in advance. They're promoting Wednesday. They promoted matches that are going to be on Rampage. They're promoting their Halloween show. Oop, are we about to drop in? Yes, we dropped. We had a big drop there, but looks like we are coming back. We're coming back. Coming back. I'm reading here. Yeah, okay, we did come back. Great. Always fun. They're promoting shows for their Halloween. That's in a week and a couple days, but they started promoting matches in advance instead of figuring out what happens next Wednesday on Thursday, of the previous week. And I think that is a good sign that they are trying to book things in advance instead of being moment to moment. I think that's good. We have been getting a lot of squash matches and or matches where the outcome is very clear. Yes, there is no part of me that thinks that even Wheeler Yuta, even the guy in BCC there to lose, there was no part of me that thought that Action Andretti is going to roll up Wheeler Yuta and win this one. Because even if they beat up Yuta, Pac is going to come in and hit them with a hammer. There's not going to be a fun ending to that match. Lord Crashton says, I've finished a rewatch of all the Mario Party parties. Oof. Lord Crashton did. Kept track of the results by giving 1 through 4 points based on order of finish. Dan and Drew finished at 33 points. Jeff had 23 points. Brad had 21. Brad surprisingly finished last the most, and Dan and Drew won all but 2 of them. Well, you have to remember that Brad, at one point, almost won. He almost won the live one, and he got really into it. And then from that point on, he cursed himself and hated himself. He didn't hate himself, but he was mad that he at any point cared about the results of that fucking thing. So it does not surprise me that that Brad would suddenly do worse in it because he believed in it, and then it didn't win. Also, it was a live show stuff, and being the heel and getting booed was an experience that Brad was fascinated by on an intellectual level, of course. That Mario Party, I went to watch. I left to go pet kittens because Exploding Kittens had a thing where they had kittens that were up for adoption. And I went and pet a kitten. And then I came back and watched the rest of that Mario Party. And I think I had the best time of anyone because it involved me leaving there for a while to go see kittens. Anyway, that's going to do it for tonight's stream. I will be back tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern. I hope you will come hang out with me tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, where I will be playing Power Wash Simulator, and I will be checking out the Shrek pack, the Shrek DLC for Power Wash Simulator, a paid DLC. I paid money for a property that I have no real interest in, and but there's some good graffiti. I have done some of the first stage, because I think that if I didn't do some of it, it would have taken the entire stream to just do it one location. And I at least want to see 2, if not 3 locations. We're going to go hang out with Mary Kish. Mary is currently playing Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom. Multiple Echoes of Wisdom. So we're going to go hang out with Mary Kish and see what she's up to, and hang out with her, as we mentioned. Yeah, the castle was very large, so we'll be there. As John says, we always end with a raid. We're going to go hang out with Mary Kish. Hope you come with me. Hope you come back tomorrow for Power Wash Simulator, which should be a good, silly time. And we'll hang out. We'll talk about a bunch of things while I'm power washing. But yeah, let's go on this raid. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you in the future. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.